Alright, so we've had a couple questions from customers who want to know how they can break up the registration process in using Gravity Forms and MemberPress with the use of our plugin Gravity Press. But they want to know how they can break up this form into two parts. One would just be a pure registration form where their member creates a user account for their site, then logs in to the site automatically, and then basically was able to make the payment and select their level of MemberPress to log into. So actually we're going to be working right now with the feature called dynamic population. So let me just kind of show you real quick what we're looking at. In Gravity Forms has a really cool feature called dynamic population. This is the document out here. And I'll put a link to this in the bottom of the video description so that you guys can review this. It's pretty straightforward. But the notion is that we're going to be using two Gravity Forms to accomplish this. Form 1 and Form 2. And Form 1 is going to take a bunch of information and then redirect the user after login to a second Gravity Form. And we're going to make use of this parameter system where you can basically have different parameters in the URL, which will populate the fields of the second form. So why don't we just get into it? So if you're also just kind of watching this video because you want to know more about dynamic population in Gravity Forms, hopefully this will help you. Okay, so let's go back to our site. I'm going to create two forms, so I'm just going to call this one Form 1. This will just be user registration. Let's make another one. Well, let's just start with here. And again, this is going to be a registration form. I have the user registration plugin from Gravity Forms installed, so this is a requisite for this. You can't do this without that. And we'll set this up. And we're going to use Stripe for the payment. Okay, so what we of course need is the basics to register someone. We need their name, so let's drag that over. We need their email address. Now you could create a username field. I'm just going to keep the username as the email address. That way it's a little more simple. And what else do we need? I think that's all we need just to register a user. Name and email. We can add more if you want to add other fields, occupation, all that stuff. You can utilize all these things. Now this particular customer who asked me about this actually wanted to take, they wanted the user to select a MemberPress level on the first form when they register. And so instead of doing it on the payment form. So let's just go with that. This is optional, but if you want to do this, this is a good way to do it. So, you know, if you followed any of our Gravity Press tutorials, you know that you need to do that with a pricing field, specifically the product field. So we're going to do that here. And I'm going to make this a drop-down. And I could make it a radio button as well, but I'm going to do a drop-down. And so as I've done in other videos, basically I'm just going to go up here, going to go down to the MemberPress area, and I'm going to import the various levels that are available. Now I can put prices on them. I'll just do 20, 30, and 40. Actually, what should happen is this is lifetime, so I'm going to make that the bottom one. And silver should be, we're kind of out of order here. This is probably a better order here, and we'll just make lifetime, I don't know, $100. Let's update that. Now normally I would set up the Gravity Press plugin feed right now and connect it to this one, but actually because this is a more complicated system, we're going to wait on this, and this is just going to collect this data right now, and we'll set up the Gravity Press feed in the next form. And so we'll have to dynamically populate this form 2 with this information that they entered. Let's call this product name. Let's do choose level. Okay. I think we have everything we need for the fields. Let's go down to the user registration feed. So we're going to create a feed here. And this basically is necessary in order for Gravity Forms to do that user creation in the background. So we're going to select a username. I'm going to choose email for this because I'm just going to have them log in with their email. First name and last name are already pre-populated. Nickname, I'll just say full name for that. You can choose, or maybe first name. That's nice. Display name, nickname is fine. It's going to auto-generate their password, so I don't have to worry about that. And then so I guess I could create another field if I wanted to give them ability to create their own password. I'm going to make them just a regular customer as their role, and have WordPress send that password by email. Yes, that sounds great. Cool. So I have this now. So this form is ready to go. I need to put it on a page though. So let's go create a new page, and we'll just do. This is using Gutenberg, so we'll just say 2-part registration example, and this will be part 1. In this case, I'm just going to go and add in my form, because I believe I have Gravity Forms. Here it is. You're going to use the Gravity Forms block that's built into Gutenberg now, and I'm going to choose Form 1 here. And it actually populates, which is lovely. Publish this, which is cool. And then I'm just going to grab this because I need to use this for my next form too. All right, so we can see the form is here now. Now the one thing that the customer mentioned that I think is a good idea is it would be nice if there was a auto login, so that yes, we could technically take their information, register them, and then send them an email and have them log in. But it would be nice if it was a little more smooth and an easy transition for the customer, that they can automatically be logged in after submitting this button. So what I'm going to do is I'm making use of a script that we recommend people use if they want to set up auto login after registration. And it's basically at WP Codus, maybe it's US, code us, I don't know. WP Code us, and this is called tutorial Gravity Forms automatically login user after registration. So I'm just going to grab this code here, and we're just going to stick it into our theme, our theme's function PHP. Copy this. So you might, you have your own WordPress install going on. You're going to go into your content in your theme, find your theme. We're using the storefront theme right now. And I'm going to look for the functions PHP. I'm going to open it up in my favorite editor. And wait for, there it is. Okay, so I'm just going to, this is my functions PHP theme. This is, again, where you can throw in a bunch of custom code. I'm just going to go to the very bottom of it and pull this up a little bit here. Oops, I don't know how that got there. All right, so I'm just going to throw in this code here. We need to know, let's see, I think this is all ready to go. I don't think we need to know much. User ID, let me just check the data here. User login, passwords, going to grab the password, sign on user login. I think it's pretty plug and play. I don't think we need to edit anything here. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this into my functions. And then what will happen is it should just automatically apply, so that when someone logs in, when someone fills out this form, they'll automatically log them in. So let's actually just try this out. I'm just going to open an incognito window and see if it works. So let's do Kevin test. I'll make up a fake email here. This should literally register me and log me in. And I am logged in. Okay, so we've now proven that I'm logged in. Great. And so that was great. So we just basically registered and logged in one bit by adding that script. Now let's create our second form. So I'm going to close this out. I'm going to go back and let's create our second form. Go to forms, go to new forms. Again, this is a form 2 payment form. Now this is where things get interesting, because we need to grab information from the previous form in order to know, in order to make it easier for the customer. Yes, we could have them type their name in again and their email address, but that's not very convenient for them. We wanted to make it as convenient as possible for them. So we need to guess what, we need to put the same things back: a name, an email. Now I could actually just duplicate the other form. That might be even easier than this, but I'll just do this from scratch. Name, email. I believe we also had a product. We also need to create the product as before, because again, we need to use MemberPress for this one to assign them to a MemberPress level. I'm going to change this again to dropdown. And of course this time I'm going to add two more things, which is the total, because I want them to see what they're paying for, how much they're paying, and I want to add the credit card. So there's a lot more going on in this form. And again, I'm going to say choose level, or level chosen, I can just say. But I don't want them to have to enter their name or their email or this again, the level chosen. I want this to automatically be populated. And so what I'm going to do is simply go into each level and create a dynamic population option. So I'm going to go to the advanced, and then I'm going to look for allow field to be dynamically populated. I'm going to say absolutely. Now I have to create a parameter, and we'll get into exactly what that means, but it was sort of similar to what I showed you before, where you're going to be doing something in the URL. So let's just say level for this. I could name it, clown or any red or whatever I wanted to, but I'm going to say level because it means something to me. And that's all I need to do here. Now these ones are actually kind of interesting because I could get the other form to send me this information, but even easier, since this is a registered user now. Okay, so if I'm here and I'm trying to get what these default values are, let's just go look up. What I'm going to look up is Gravity Forms, and then merge tag. I'll just say first name, because that's what I ultimately want. First name. This could be it. This could be it. Just do a couple links to see which one gives me the best result. I do like to usually use their docs, Gravity Form docs, to help me with this, but let's see which one gives me the best results. Okay, here we go. First name, last name. So basically what I'm going to do is put a user. So here's the format for that. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to my field. I'm going to put the default value of user and then meta field name. So let's just, again, go back to our article, meta field name, and we're going to use first name. And this basically will populate the form automatically, which is really cool. So I'm going to take out the square brackets and just keep those curly brackets in and enter first name. Now I believe I don't need two colons here. I just say user first name. Guess what? The last name is pretty similar. I'm just going to change this from first to last. And this will basically populate first name and last name when I log in. The other thing I'm going to want, of course, is email address. So grab the email, and we'll have the same idea. So user email. So let's go here. Oops, wrong form. Where'd my form go? Here it is. So I'm going to go down to form, and again, we're using curly brackets user colon. So we'll do that again for default value. Now I may actually not even have to do that for this one, and I don't, which is nice, because in here I could write this out, but they actually give me a little drop down in the email one. I don't know why, but this is kind of nice. So I can just basically go user email, and it just automatically plugs that in for me, which is nice. So these will automatically be populated. Okay, and let's put this on a page as well. So let's go into pages, add a new page. Okay, and we're going to name this, this is going to be part 2. Now again, I'm going to put in a new form. The form in this one's going to be form. It's going to be form 2 for my list here, payment form. I'm going to publish this, and publish this. Okay, let's look at this page now, see what it looks like. And what do you know? This is all filled out automatically, which is nice. So if I'm a user who just registered and I'm going to the payment form now, I don't have to refill out this information. It's already done for me. Now there's two things you can do. You can display this to them and let them change it if you want. And this will actually affect the payment information on the credit card, so that could be good or bad. I tend to not want them to change it because I want to make sure that the username they signed up with, they registered on my site with, is the same name, first name and last name, that matches in my Stripe account or in my credit card account or whatever like that. So I actually like to disable this so that they can't see that their name is in here. But this is, again, vital for the credit card gateway. That's why we're including it on the second form, even though we already took it in the first form. Same with the email address. If I'm using Stripe and I want to make sure I look up a payment, it needs an email address associated with it. Plus, they need to get a receipt and stuff like that from Stripe sometimes, so this is going to go to Stripe as well. But I don't want them to have to see this again because we already created these in the first form, and we already had them fill these out. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to go disable them, hide them basically. And that's pretty easy to do. It hides them, but to the user, but to the system it doesn't hide it. It basically doesn't disable them, it just hides them. So Stripe's still going to get this information, but the member will not see this. And I'm going to go again with advanced, stick this hidden. Now let's keep the level, just because I could show this level or not, and so it's up to them. But again, what I have to do is populate this from MemberPress. This is the Gravity Press function I'm using here. And remember, I changed these around a little bit. I made goal number 3. And so again, we're going to use 10. Oops. 20. 30. I think I said 100, right? So these just match up with the first one. That's what I want. And these are these values here. And again, I have my dynamic population set up using the parameter named level. So let me update this form. Okay, so I'm just going to go into the Gravity Press settings right now and just set this up real quick. Again, I've done this on other videos, so if you want a larger explanation of how to set this up, go check out the default tutorial for those. And then I'm just going to select the field level chosen here, and that's all I need to do. So now Gravity Press is set up for Form 2. Even though we collected their choice on Form 1, this actually is going to add them to the level using Form 2 because we want to make sure that they're only being added to their level when they pay, not when they don't pay. So that helps. But the one last thing we need to do is set up the parameters in Form 1. So let's go to Form 1 here, the user registration form. And then we want to make sure that we set up the redirect correctly. So let's go to confirmation. This is basically where you're going to redirect them. And we're going to edit the default confirmation. Usually it's going to say a text, but actually we want to redirect this. And what we want to do is redirect it to the new page and add some query strings. So I think, oh yeah, okay, we could do this here. So choose the page. Well, we're going to send them to part 2 after they submit. But I also want to send them the level chosen. So what we're going to do is just say, not this, we're going to basically say level equals, and then we're going to choose the field from this form, and it will be chosen level. So what does this mean? What am I doing here? What I'm doing is taking the first form in which they chose the level, the MemberPress level that they wanted to sign up for. And if you actually go in here, you can see that there's unique IDs. These are MemberPress level IDs here. It's taking these and it's going to put this into the URL when they get redirected. Now they're not going to really know what this means, and if you want to make it more conspicuous, you can change the level to something, change it to some code or whatever you want it to be. You can make it like that, and that would still work. as long as both forms matched. But I'm going to use level for here, and let's give it a try. We're basically going to simultaneously, they're going to create a username, get logged in, and then when they pay, they're going to be added to that correct level. Now there's one more thing we have to do for Form 2, and that is make sure that our payment system is working. So let's just make sure to do that real quick. Go down to Stripe, we need to create a feed. This is very important, otherwise we don't get paid. And that's one thing that always annoyed me about Gravity Form's gateways, plugins, is that they would allow you to take money without actually taking a credit card, but without actually taking money. So we're going to do product here, and form totals, what we'll want the amount chosen on, and then we're good. Now it's going to ask us, hey, we need to authorize that. So you'd want to go through and authorize this and set all this up so that you're actually making sure that this is connected to your Stripe account so you're getting paid. So just make sure to do that. Okay, so let's check this out and see if it works. We'll do, again, an incognito window. We're going to start with Form 1. This is the user registration part, so I can put in my fake name, fake email. As if I'm a real member, I'm going to choose maybe gold membership. Now you could put the total field. That would be nice to show them how much they're paying, but I didn't do that in this case. But you can always put add a total field so that they can see the amount. I'm going to press submit on it. Hopefully going to be logged in and be redirected to Form 2. So let's see if this works. Okay, so you can see that it mostly worked, but it didn't work exactly. So it put in we put in gold. It tried to add gold membership here, but it did not populate the form, even though everything else was correct. My suspicion is because there's a space in the label, it's causing some issues. I tried it with a quote, it didn't really work. So what we're going to try to do is change this to the value, so that the value is what's being accepted. So let's look at, here's the value here, trying to get that going. So in our query string, I'll just take off these quotes. I'm actually going to add this little colon and just do value. And that way it should give me the 200 versus the name gold member. So let's try that. And basically I'll first test it with this here to see if that works. Yes, it does work here. So let's try from the beginning again. Start with Form 1. And I just want to show you also, I'm just going to you could see that they were disabled, but I'm just going to show you really what they look like. So you can see from start to finish what your user is seeing. Now you can always hide these if you want to, but it's kind of nice just to see that the whole system is working when you're testing it. So again, we're at Form 1. We're choosing the gold membership again. I'm going to be registered, logged in, and redirected simultaneously to Form 2. And you can see that my name was transferred over, my email was transferred over, and the correct level was chosen for me because of this 200, the value of 200. Also, the total shows correctly, and now it's up to me to enter my, I forget what it is, 16 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's a test credit card I'm trying. You can learn about this all at Stripe if you want. Put in any kind of month and year. I'm going to put in any number here. It's going to ask for my name again, so I'll just put in my name if I want. And then I'm going to submit. And let's see what happens on the back end. Was money collected is a good question, so you're going to want to check that. But also, was I added to MemberPress correctly? So we're going to go into transactions. And we can see that a gold membership was purchased by this user here. So it worked, which is pretty exciting. So everything's working, and so in 2 steps in terms of the registration, and then in the second form, the payment. And then in the payment form, I both paid and I was added to MemberPress all in one swoop. So that's how you would separate 2 forms out in a 2-step process. If it was important to you for Form 1 to collect and register the user, select the user level, and then in Form 2 to be added to that level. And that's how you break it up. All right, well, hopefully that helps. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions, let us know by joining us at ristreatoapps.com.